Hi, I'm Bryce Hill from the Electrical Engineering Department of Montana Technological University. Recently, you may have received something like this from us, either in person or through the mail. In the box, you discovered a little piece of electronics, and it looks just like this. And let me switch over so we can play with this just a little bit. So inside the box, there's just this little piece of electronics, and there's this card. And this card gives us some instructions, and it gives us a little bit of QR code on the back side. I'll show you how to find this in a little minute here. And if we take out our handy-dandy power supply, and there's no data that transfers through this, and power it on, this starts what we call a binary counter. And so it counts through the different binary values. There's lots of different people who've talked about binary values, very well known. From the instructions, what it says here is something that we can do from that point on, is if we do a long press and let go, it'll actually count reverse order. And so this does both forward and reverse binary order. If we do a short press, it'll stop and start. I'll do another long press so it counts up. So it's counting up, and that's what we want to see right there on our screen. So that's the first part. You can play with that all you want. Beyond this, it doesn't do much. It just counts binary order. But you can test your knowledge on whether you understand binary order. Can you tell whether it counts up or counts down? The next part is that there's a QR code here. And what does it do? Well, it takes you to Amazon, and you can order one of these. This allows us to talk between the microcontroller that's here. So there's electronics on here. There's electronics underneath the bar LED. There's 10 LEDs, which means we can count from 0 to 1023. And then, but there's a microcontroller, and it can talk across this to just a regular computer. So you can order one of these, and it comes with a little slew of wires. And so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to disconnect this. And we're going to connect a few things. On here it says 3V3, which is 3.3 volts. I'm going to connect one of these on there. And I'm going to connect it to the one that says 3.3. There's another one that says ground on here, GND. And there's one on here that also says ground. So those two are connected up. Okay. This is the confusing part. There's a TXD pin on this one. But on here, there's also a TX, but I'm not going to connect it to the TX. I'm going to connect it to the RX. TX and RX stand for receive and transmit. And we are receiving on my little red board here and transmitting from the green one and vice versa. So in other words, they talk to each other, but they have to be cross-wired. And so we end up with this kind of setup here. If I go ahead and pull out my USB cable, which I'm plugged into here, and plug her in, you can tell it powers it. You can hear my computer ding in the background, and now we're able to talk to it. Okay? So watch that binary counter. I'm going to change our screen size here. So the binary counter is still going, and what we need is some software, but also what we need is we need to know that we just connected on a port, and I'm going to search for Device Manager. I know that was a little bit, in Windows there's a little program called Device Manager, and it's really small. You aren't going to be able to see it on your screen. But under here, under ports, COM, and LPT, there's a new thing that comes up, and right now it says COM18, and we need to remember that. COM18 is what it says. And so we need a program now. There's a free program called PuTTY, P-U-T-T-Y. And we're going to download PuTTY. Keep on downloading there. Come down here that version will work just fine. So we just downloaded it, and we're going to open that program. And I'm going to change over to serial, but I'm going to change my appearance so you can see it. Okay. We're going to change over to a serial port. COM, if you remember, 18 was the one that's on. Yours is going to be different. Yours might say COM3 or COM5 or something else. And there's a whole bunch of COM ports, and the way that we're going to find that out, the easiest way, is once we have a device manager up. If I unplug that, which I was in there really good, and wait for that, we can see that COM18 went away. All these other ones are still plugged into the computer. Okay, and if I plug it back in under COM and LPT, and plug that wire back in. That wire's getting old. We'll have to replace that. But if we look, COM18 came back up. So that's the one that we want to open up. And the speed is 9600. Okay, so that being said, that opened up our window. And right now nothing's happening. And the reason nothing's happening is because these two wires became disconnected. So your new wires won't have this problem. Mine do, because they're old wires and they're getting disconnected really easily. But having wires disconnect on you is part of electrical engineering. So that one's on there. Okay, and when I plug that in, you notice that we started getting data transfer. And this is just telling us what the current decimal value is. Okay, so every time it increments, it also sends across this serial port a value. Now, if we notice on this card as well, there's some other things that we can do down here, which is we can start typing in some values. Now, I'm going to start typing, and what I'm going to start typing is %D988. %D988, and I'm going to hit enter. I hit the wrong thing. %D988. And you notice that the scrolling stopped, but the value that's displayed should be 988, and then it'll continue to scroll again. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. %D988. It stopped, and so that should be a 988 value that's on there. I don't know if I believe that one. Star, I forgot that, D988. Now I believe that that's 988. Okay, and we can verify if I go %*1023, it should be all lit up. I don't know if I did that right. So $*D1023. All of them light up when I do that. So that's a 1023. There's also values for, that's for a decimal value. And if you want to look up what a hexadecimal value is, I'm going to do it %*X30F. And so that's a 30F that I did there. I'm not sure if I believe that one either. Let's do that again. %*30F. I don't believe that one as well. The last four digits should be all lit up. So %*, and I did that wrong. %*X3FF should light them all up. You're going to try that one more time. %*3FF. That's not going to work. %*X3FF. Well, it's still not lighting up exactly how I want it to be. %*1023. Okay, that lit them all up, so that one's working. You can also do a binary, octal, and hex, so there are 4 different ways on this card that we can display. But that allows us to talk to this directly. It's able to send and receive data. You can't see what I'm typing, which is kind of annoying, but it's also part of the way that things work. percent star decimal 0001. There's a 1, percent star decimal 0005. And that's a 5, 101 in binary. Okay? And so I'll let you play with this just a little bit and see if you can test your binary knowledge, if you can type in the values. Also find bugs. The one thing I want to tell you about this is that this is not perfect. I designed this board and I had students help me put it together. And there's a QR code on the back that helps you get to where you want to go. In other words, this was not designed by somebody that you don't know. It was designed by people here, right here on campus. It was also programmed by people right here on campus, which means it doesn't take much for you to program it. If you want to, you can order another board like this, and I'll start posting some more videos on how you can program the actual chip on here. I will give you guidance on how to make your own printed circuit board and how to solder. And these are things that I want to do as I go through this process with you of teaching you what electronics are and how this helps us in everyday life. So I hope this has been informative for you. Want you to take a look at our website as well. If we come back to where we were at, we're going to have more of these things available in the future. We have one that's going to be a grid LED. I've got one right here. And it displays scrolling text. And that one's going to be reprogrammable as well. And so we want you to take your time to get to know our electronics and get to know our program through this website. There will be an opportunity when they're available to order any of these as we move forward. So we hope that you enjoyed this. If you have someone, if you came across this and you don't know what this is, you can order one by emailing us here in the electrical engineering department and requesting one for a potential student. If you are a potential student, you can request one from us directly. I'll mail it to you as soon as I get the request. The forms are coming for this soon. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoy it.